Welcome back. In this video, we're going to learn how to draw a square to the screen. We're going to change the square's vertical position just like we're changing the circle's horizontal position. We're going to learn how to use the plus equals and minus equals operators to make our arithmetic a little more concise. Now, we saw that Raylib has a draw circle function for drawing circles. Raylib also has a function for drawing rectangles. Can you guess what it's called? That's right, it's called draw rectangle. Now, draw rectangle has 5 input parameters. They're called pos x, pos y, width, height, and color. Now, pos x, pos y, and width and height are all ints. Color is a Raylib color, similar to the color we use in draw circle. Now, pos x and pos y correspond to the upper left corner of the rectangle. They refer to the x and y of the position of the upper left corner. Here's the rectangle, and here's its upper left corner. Now here's a quick challenge for you. I want you to draw the ax. We're going to draw a rectangle and call this the ax. Use draw rectangle just under our call to draw circle. Place the rectangle at 300 and 0, meaning 300 is the pos x and 0 is the pos y. For the width, use 50, and for the height, also use 50. Use red for the color. Pause the video and try this now. Okay, here we are in our program, and here's our call to draw circle. Just under draw circle, we're going to call draw rectangle. Now draw rectangle takes pos x for its first parameter. We're going to use 300 for the pos x. We'll use 0 for the pos y. For the width, we'll use 50, and for the height, we'll also use 50. And finally, for the color, we're going to use red. Let's go to Run and start debugging. Here's our window, and there is our rectangle. Now, why don't we make our window a bit bigger? I'm going to come up here to the top where we have our window dimensions. For width, let's change this to 800, and for height, let's make this 450. Let's start our circle off at the coordinates 200 and 200. Now I'm going to hit Run and start debugging to see what this looks like. There's our window, and now we have a bigger play area. Okay, great job. Now the next thing I'm going to do is create variables for the axis coordinates. So let's make a comment here and say ax coordinates, and we'll make an int called ax underscore x, and let's give this an initial value. Now that our width is 800, let's put our ax in the middle. We'll start it off at 400. Let's make an int called axy, and we'll initialize this with a value of 0, so it starts off at the top. Now we can go down to our call to draw rectangle, and for pos x, let's pass in ax underscore x. And for pos y, let's pass in ax underscore y. That way we're using variables instead of hard coding those values. Now, if we want our ax to be moving downwards on the screen, all we have to do is add a value to axy every frame. So just below draw rectangle, let's place a comment here and say move the ax. And beneath that, we're going to say ax underscore y equals ax underscore y plus 10. Now, if we hit Run and start debugging, there goes our ax. It went straight down and off the screen. Okay, so now let's quickly talk about a new type of operator called the compound assignment operator. Now, we saw that we could add 10 each frame to axy with this line here. The line works from right to left, first using the addition operator to add 10 to axy, and then the assignment operator assigns that new value to axy. There's a shorthand for this that does the exact same thing. It looks like this. This operator, plus equals, takes the value in axy, adds 10 to it, and assigns that new value to axy. The first line and the second line on the screen here do exactly the same thing. Now keep in mind that the plus operator does not change a variable. That's why we needed the assignment operator in the first line here to actually change axy. But plus equals does change axy. That's why it actually qualifies as a type of assignment operator. Now there exists a similar operator that has to do with subtraction. Take this line for example. We take circle x, subtract 10 from it, and assign the result to circle x. This line does the same exact thing. The minus equals operator takes the value in circle x, subtracts 10 from it, and assigns circle x with the result. So this behaves similarly to the plus equals operator. Remember, the minus operator does not change a variable. That's why we need the assignment operator to change a variable. But minus equals does change the variable, which is why minus equals is also considered another type of assignment operator. So let's go back into our program and see if we can find opportunities to use the minus equals and plus equals operators. So here's our program. Now I'm going to scroll down to the line where we move the ax. Here we see that we're adding 10 to axy and assigning the result to axy. We could easily just use the plus equals operator and say ax plus equals 10, and this will have the same result. Now, down here in our first if check, we're adding 10 to circle x and assigning the result to circle x. So here we can also use the plus equals operator. Now, in the second if check, we're subtracting 10 from circle x and assigning the result to circle x. So this would be a prime opportunity to use the minus equals operator. So we can say circle x minus equals 10. Okay, in summary, we learned that we could draw a rectangle to the screen using Raylib's drawRectangle function, and we're calling this the ax. We also learned about plus equals and minus equals, and we use these as a sort of shorthand when adding values to our variables, and this makes our code look a little bit more clean. Great job! We'll see you in the next video.